Power is one of the many desires for people who want to rule this world and revel in the glory and live out the rest of their days succeeding as a result. However, in the real world, power is about having large sums of money and businesses and the ability to basically control a monopoly. The world's richest, however, work their ass off to get this power. We can look at them just like we do with fictional characters who also work their ass off to acquire lots of power. The top 10 richest people in the world own the largest businesses in the world or have created an almost monopoly that allows our modern day world the internet and other luxuries to improve this world even more. Bill Gates making Microsoft has shown the power of computers in the business. Apple has shown the innovation of the iPhone and other good products. And Amazon showing itself as the main leader in online shopping. While these billionaires who created these companies suffer either controversy or backlash or just die, they still have changed the world. Now, what does this have to do with fictional characters with insane power? I mean, you've seen the title, you know what it's going to be about. But I'm mainly talking about this because although the difference of fictional power characters versus our monopolistic society with insane technology have a clear difference in the power level, they are metaphorically the same in terms of how they have the potential to change the world or existence as we know it. Powerful characters in work of fiction always capture our monkey brains and inspire us to be the same. To be like them, but not on a physical level, but just to succeed like them. You want to be the main protagonist and succeed because ultimately you want to be like these billionaires with multiple mansions and businesses. In works of fiction, certain characters can cross the line between being powerful and just borderline overpowered. Superman, the Flash, and Goku. These are incredibly powerful characters that even the most powerful villains have a hard time defeating, and eventually the tables turn for them. But it seems that people nowadays are just getting a little bit tired of having these badass and unkillable characters that can easily crush their competition. It seems that films that depict more human and more vulnerable protagonists are getting more popular as a result like this. Like John Wick. He's a human, but he has an inhuman ability to kill people. He knows how to dodge and survive better than those trying to kill him. Throughout the movies, you know that he's extremely vulnerable and has actually been injured multiple times. But because he's an expert martial artist and hitman, you can breathe a bit easier knowing he might stand a better chance against more villains. It seems that we still want the type of stories where the protagonist always wins, but have a better ability to be hurt and potentially killed by their competition. John Wick is praised because of the action, choreography, Keanu Reeves, and pretty much of course the story. But what if you had a character that defied all expectations of a human and character? What if they were so powerful that literally nobody could stand up to them or even scratch on them? What if they could defeat every single villain or character in one punch? What happens when a character is so strong that he's literally a comic relief character instead of a badass protagonist kicking ass and saying cool one-liners? Well, there's an anime of this exact premise, and you may expect it to be extremely bland and uninteresting, but somehow it's one of the most popular and best animes of all time. How? Well, continue watching or don't because of... Before this video technically starts, I just want to say that there are spoilers in this video, so be wary of that. Please watch the anime or comics to know some key elements of packing down today's topic. Also, subscribe for Fortnite funnies. One Punch Man is a very unique anime, but then again, it really isn't. The entire idea of the anime is supposed to make fun of the entire superhero genre, mocking all of the powerful superheroes because they somehow win scenarios they most likely shouldn't. One Punch Man was created by an artist who goes by the pseudonym One. One has created dozens of animes and manga, but his most famous of course being One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100. He is a massive artist on his webcomic pages and gets thousands of hits every single day. One has cemented himself as a manga artist that will go down in history. However, he only created the original One Punch Man webcomic. The manga was separately illustrated by a fan who got in contact with him and partnered with him to create the manga. But anyways, One Punch Man is a story about multiple things, but the base of it is Saitama. Saitama is a regular guy, except for his god-level strength. He trained so hard that after 3 years of his exercise routine, he managed to become bald and then realized his power situation. One Punch Man Season 1 at least shows his journey of becoming a rookie hero of the Hero Association, and he eventually ranks up after defeating several threats to humanity. However, you might expect him to be the #1 ranked superhero almost instantly, but so far, the highest rank he's managed to get is last place A rank in the webcomic and B rank 7 in the manga. Saitama, however, has become so done with existence that little things that wouldn't bother most people upset him, like missing out on a sale at the supermarket or just getting mad at a group of villains with bald heads like Saitama. He doesn't have any satisfaction with life anymore, and the only actual emotions he shows are either in his own dreams or just him doing a funny thing. Saitama doesn't have any other hopes for life but to either be defeated or feel the thrill of battle once more. That's incredibly sad, but in Season 1, Saitama proves himself as a worthy hero, and even gains his own disciple, despite his disciple being S-ranked. Saitama is a comic relief character, while everyone else is the action for the anime. As I said, an anime like this should be extremely boring because if your main character, no matter what, is always going to win, is it even worth watching? Well, somehow, One in Madhouse managed to do it. One Punch Man is an incredible anime, and normally I don't like anime on an account of but then again, I think pretty much everyone has seen it. It's such a popular anime, and everyone knows about the okay meme. One Punch Man is just a universally loved anime. One Punch Man is an impossible anime that has done what most people couldn't ever do, making OP protagonists show incredibly cool and enjoyable to watch. And the anime is just as impossible as the main character's strength, and also his deep knowledge and wiseness he doesn't even realize. When Saitama and Genos sign up for the Hero Association, Saitama is ranked very low in intelligence, mainly for the fact that he wasn't paying attention and didn't do too good on his scores. Yet, he broke all current fitness records for the entire association, but he becomes the lowest ranked hero. Instead of complaining about this rank and proves his worth as a hero by showing his power, he just goes with it and continues like normal while still performing some hero duties. One of the first animes I ever watched was One Punch Man. I'm glad I did because it's an absolute masterpiece that shouldn't even be possible. It takes a dumb and stupid concept and makes it interesting. Imagine if this was a normal TV show with the exact same premise but without the whole anime shtick. It would probably be rejected by literally every other producer and director. The premise sounds so bland and uninteresting that it can lead many to believe that the anime isn't even interesting or fun to watch. But I think people should at least watch one episode of One Punch Man before making that decision. One Punch Man is an unintentionally deep anime with philosophical morals on what a hero should be and who's considered a hero. And also, the fight scenes and music! No, I mean, seriously, just listen to this thing.
Hey, wanna listen to some tunes?
I previously mentioned how many people would probably discourage themselves from watching an anime with this ridiculousness of a premise, considering that the entire plot is a joke about a guy gaining godlike strength and killing every bad guy in one punch. But there are fight scenes. In fact, Season 2 of the anime, although not considered as good as Season 1, focuses on many different heroes and has good action scenes. Season 1 of course also has really good fight scenes, but with less heroes and more emphasizing Saitama facing powerful villain threats that serve a great danger to humanity but don't serve any kind of danger to him. But if you are someone who doubts the greatness of this anime, watch it. It's a witty, charming, comedic, and just all in all incredible anime. One Punch Man is one of the biggest animes of all time, despite what many think is a boring plot. However, today, although I would love to talk about One Punch Man and how great it is, I would like to mainly focus on a really overlooked part of the anime, the dilemma that has been presented to the main character, Saitama, and his struggle and succession in killing monsters and being a godlike being. I will be talking about how this presents an absolute depressing part of the show and what it means for the main character. Let's talk about Saitama's profession, being a hero, and what dilemma it brings, and also maybe fanboy over the entire anime as a whole. Although One Punch Man at first appears to be some big balls action anime with cool explosions and characters, it's way deeper and sad than that. This anime actually has depth and emotional connections, specifically Saitama. You can relate to Saitama or maybe feel bad for him. Saitama has always been sort of depressed in life. When he was younger, he was bullied a lot and physically beat up. When he was older, he struggled trying to find a job and eventually ran into a tiger-level threat crab monster. The monster spares him because the monster recognizes how he also has no purpose in life and is all empty, and leaves him to kill a kid with a questionably weird chin. The nigga chin! However, although Saitama feels he doesn't have much left for his life, he saves the kid before it's too late. The resulting brawl has Saitama killing the monster. Although this moment was important for Saitama and to becoming a stronger person and hero, this is probably the single most important moment in the anime. This kid was the son of the founder of the Hero Association. After this kid told his dad about Saitama, he spent his money dedicated to making heroes and saving the world. Saitama is truly the savior of his entire world. Without him, the Hero Association wouldn't exist, and most likely, the world would have been dead, to say the least. Let's get back to Saitama. He trained for 3 grueling years, to him at least, and eventually, he started noticing he was becoming bald. He then realized he had gained in human strength. His one goal. Slowly, Saitama realizes, although he can save people easier, he is probably more empty than before. This is the saddest part about One Punch Man. He wants to be a hero and wants to save people, but for him, being a hero doesn't feel any fun or give him any motivation. I mean, can you blame him? Imagine you become the strongest thing in the universe, and although that sounds great, is there any point to fighting if either way you won't die or be hurt? What kind of sacrifice are you really making? When Saitama stops the meteor in Season 1, Bane was right there and saw how Saitama was able to break it into pieces to prevent it from totally destroying the city. Bane later recalls this moment with Atomic Samurai, showing that Saitama will eventually probably be an S-class hero. Saitama, although he doesn't have any motivation to exist or be a hero, he still does it anyway, and does things no other hero could do. Saitama is the strongest hero. Saitama is the one that will be the last surviving out of any hero. He is so strong that he can survive in space and move the speed of light. Once again, nobody can stand up to him. No matter who it is, people just let them get some punches and then one-punch them once again. In fact, in Season 1, he is now wishing at least once a person will stand a single punch, but nobody's a match, except for Boros. Boros is probably the strongest villain character in the entire series so far. Look, I know the Monster King was powerful, but he was literally killed in a few punches, and they weren't even Saitama's most serious punch. However, Boros survives multiple punches and even Saitama's strongest punch, Killer Move Series. Even though Boros was Saitama's most powerful foe yet, you could tell he felt no emotion during the battle apart from anger at them destroying Earth slowly. The character dynamic of Saitama represents comedic relief and great sorrow. The reason he became a hero was because he wanted to become strong and save people. Saitama had nowhere to go in life. Ironically, this goal would worsen with him being a godlike being. Now look, Saitama's a hero, and is very strong and respected by some Class S heroes and many others, but ultimately, he still has no purpose or motivations in life. If getting strong was his only goal for life, then he has no reason to live anymore. Saitama mainly works because most of the time, he doesn't express any emotion about being this strong and just continues on with the story. His comedic relief personality allows for good moments, and is enjoyable to watch during the more serious moments. But I think Saitama is actually very strong. You want to still see him succeed. I think the main reason this happens is because constantly, Saitama continues to save the world and his actions are praised for someone else who never did much. Saitama is the most important character both literally and figuratively. Saitama is the perfect hero. He's one of the only morally right people in the entire association because he doesn't do the hero gig for praise or for fame. He does it because he wants to save people and enjoy the thrill of battle. This is why he became friends with people like Moomin Rider, because Moomin recognizes his strength and also him being one of the only actual good people in the entire hero association. He understands that a true hero is someone willing to risk their life even against the odds. We know this because when Saitama absolutely rolled the Z-King, absolutely rolled, destroyed Saitama, instead of taking credit or acting like he did the killing of the monster on his own, like some douche or stereotypical Class A hero, he instead does the unthinkable. He sacrifices his own reputation to give more credit to the people that almost gave their lives to stop the Z-King. Genos and Moomin Rider were both there. They know he's a good person, and although they are amazed he was willing to sacrifice the good of his will and hero status for this simple act, it's something that any rational person would have done. Say they had insane godlike power. Saitama is a good hero and character because he has nothing to live for, and yet he is still the most wise and kind type of person. It may appear that sometimes Saitama is just a lazy and rude person, but In reality, he hides his own sorrow and denial of life and motivation by being rude and lazy. Saitama just acts dumb because nothing can really kill him, so he can do what he wants. Saitama, instead of just drinking his liver out, instead kills monsters and maybe even saves humanity as his only form of trying to find any motivation in life. You know how people say, "Don't give up, achieve your goals and dreams"? Saitama completely pushes that phrase into the trash bin because he did all of that, and now he has no reason to live. It is the opposite of losing everything. Saitama has gained everything in strength and power, but lost everything in the sense of life. I'm sorry for possibly repeating banter and philosophical morals about how some bald dude is actually depressed in disguise, but that's the thing. Saitama is basically depressed. He has no reason to live and only finds comfort in the form of friends like Genos, Kane, and Moomin Rider. Saitama is, ironically, morally superior to everyone else despite being in his current state. That's one of the main themes I love about him. Under his immortal shell, he hides his true thoughts about life and masks them by doing dumb things to find any sense of emotion. So, we know what Saitama is truly like and how he compares to other heroes. Now, let's talk about his power and what kind of double-edged sword it grants. Saitama is the ultimate hero, literally. We can't really put numbers on his strength because his power is basically limitless. There have been countless theories to predict his power level, but that's missing the point. He doesn't have a power level. He's evolved to the point where he could destroy the entire universe with his punch. There's no limit to his power. In the manga and webcomic, Dr. Genus, the guy who runs the House of Evolution, gave his theory on how Saitama became so powerful. Genus hypothesizes that all living creatures have a physical limit to their own power, in order to ensure no one creature can be so powerful, but yet Saitama was able to break his limiter. It's unknown exactly why and how. Saitama is the only human to have broken their limiter. But Genus says that it may have come from motivation, or pride, or determination to achieve a goal. This suggests that Saitama got ultimate power because he wanted to get ultimate power, and he did his damn hardest to get it. He gave everything else up in life to become this powerful, and now he's here. There are problems with this theory because, as I said, this also means any other person would have broken their limiter before Saitama, so why does he get special treatment? Well, I think it lies in with morals and determination as a person. When I talked about how even though Saitama is the most depressing character, but yet still has better morals than most of the heroes in the association, I mentioned Saitama's morals, of course. Well, knowing that Saitama always wanted ultimate power so he could save people is maybe one of the reasons Saitama is like this. The many heroes in the association are only there to get more powerful and become famous. They don't care much about saving people, they just do it to climb up the ranks. Saitama only climbed the ranks because he thought it would be cool and just wanted to continue being a hero. That is the reason that his entire power level is a dilemma of itself. It's a result of him being a hero, and the double-edged sword it grants. Saitama doesn't have to put in much effort in killing something, because he's become so powerful. In fact, his power level has become so great, and his wish for defeat or battle has been so bad that he dreams about being hurt or defeated by other villains, eventually waking up and destroying his own alarm clock. Saitama doesn't actively use his powers like any normal person. He still continues life as if he was still a normal person. Of course, only using it when fighting monsters or just to defend himself from some guy. It seems that only a few people are aware of how powerful Saitama is, but even then, they are amazed that Saitama doesn't take having this much power that seriously. Of course, they don't know that Saitama hates having this much power, and wants to at least feel like he's in some kind of danger again. His power to him is worthless, but even then, he still sees it as useful in some ways. Saitama has many of his own words of wisdom to people he thinks will be corrupt from power, if they were to get any stronger, like Siryu, a martial artist who had a baby rage tantrum over Saitama basically telling him, "You shouldn't get any stronger, you might as well just stop here." Saitama also has a very favorite quote by fans of the anime and manga. The true power of human beings is that they can change themselves. Saitama knows that humans are more unique from monsters. Monsters only seek for absolute power and the desire for success. Although Saitama doesn't like many heroes in the association, the ones he likes, he knows are the ones that aren't human monsters. This quote alludes to them because of Saitama. Human beings change themselves to improve as a human and become a better person. Ironically, Saitama has physically improved his body to the point of limitless power, but he still thinks others can follow that philosophy and become stronger mentally and physically. Saitama has seemingly gained a third eye of wisdom that he seems to ignore and then be aware of many times in the anime and manga. It's almost like his life is so depressing that sometimes he doesn't even bother acting like he has any moral philosophy to share because, for him, life is a constant cycle of repetition. Anyway, Saitama has a powerful level that really nobody can put on a scale. But if it really is limitless, considering the theory of his limitless power, this means he could basically destroy the universe in one punch from the wind/force of it, alone. The only time in the series where Saitama has been hurt was before he became this godlike being. We also know it's limitless because during Saitama's fight with Lord Boros, Boros used a majority of his power to literally send Saitama to the moon. Saitama, even though still human, was able to survive and know what he was doing on the moon for a few dozen seconds before returning to Earth at light speed. No, really, he reaches Earth in less than a few seconds. Just remember that the distance from Moon to the Earth is around 238,000 miles, or 384,000 kilometers. We know Saitama can move at light speed, which is why you can see him avoiding a lot of fast attacks in the series, but remember, most of the time, Saitama is actually holding back in his battles. But what is he doing it for? Well, we know that during his fight with Lord Boros, Boros drags on to Saitama about how he's the only person that has managed to survive fighting him for a long time. He expresses how all he wants now is a great battle between them. Although Saitama hates the rambling from him and just wants him to get rid of him, Saitama secretly complies, and allows Boros to basically hit him multiple times and do his powerful attacks. Saitama did punch him a few times, and Boros actually managed to survive a couple of them. It is only when Boros decided to sacrifice himself to try and kill Saitama and the Earth. That is when Saitama had to stop holding back and use his most powerful move. Otherwise, the Earth is doomed.
だったらこっちも切り札を使うぜ。必殺マジシリーズ。マジ殴り。
Did you notice how Saitama never actually punched him, but killed Boros from the force of the wind by his punch? That's how strong Saitama is. He doesn't have to punch a really powerful opponent to kill them. Just use the force of the wind from the punch. That force managed to divert the power of collapsing star and save the Earth. Saitama, although impressed that even then Boros managed to barely survive that punch, still feels empty because Saitama didn't even get a scratch during the fight. Boros, however, then realizes that he never stood a chance. He was always going to lose. Boros felt betrayed, but he knows that Saitama is the one that truly is empty here, because Boros was probably the last person in the entire universe who could hold more in a fight than anyone else. Saitama walks away with a look of shame, but dread, knowing this fact. There have been plenty of fan theories online discussing this fight, and if other heroes could be capable of stopping Boros. The overwhelming consensus agrees that most likely, Saitama was the only hero that could stop him. Boros took punches from Saitama. Every other character we saw in the series that got punched died instantly, and Boros managed to stay intact. It's only when he took the force of the series punch was he absolutely weakened. This also shows the power Boros had and how he most likely would have rolled over every other hero had Saitama not stepped in. Saitama has power that is constantly ignored and underestimated by everyone else around him. It seems that nobody, not even Saitama himself, can explain how he got godlike strength. I did mention earlier the most popular theory of how he did was breaking a limiter, but remember, the entire character arc of Saitama is making fun of stereotypical hero character conventions to show what a really good character would actually be. I know that One Punch Man is literally just a big joke, and yet it has countless amounts of theories to its lore and world building to explain things that are really interesting to look at and analyze. Who is Blast, the ranked #1 hero? There are many theories saying that he is Saitama, or that Saitama is Blast as a different identity. but nobody really knows. Saitama has an overwhelming power that is parodied in the show to put the emphasis on OP characters in anime or in any other superhero show. Saitama continually in battle doesn't show any sense of defeat, shame, or even cowardice. He just happily stares at his opponent as they try and slice him in half. I know that this entire video is basically just nitpicking a somewhat unimportant part about the show that you only think about if you truly analyze it like every other detail about the anime, like you're some FBI agent, but it's important for the character Saitama. What cost does having overwhelming strength give for you as a person? Well, as we've seen, absolute depression and an absence of motivation, because of course you're going to be depressed. If you can't be hurt or killed in any capacity, what life are you living? However, while you may feel that you no longer have any purpose in life, the opposite can be true. You find the good in life by salvaging meaning from it and what your own purpose is. For Saitama, that would be saving the world, and being the ultimate hero, of course. Saitama feels that he isn't truly a hero if he hasn't sacrificed anything to stop a threat, but the opposite is true. Saitama sacrificed his reputation and the goodwill of what others think of him. He acts like a fool to the higher-ranked heroes and they think less of him. The public thinks that he's just a no-good cheater who takes the credit of what other heroes almost killed themselves for. Saitama is the ultimate being and hero. His hero and power dilemma sure raises many questions about the nature of society and life in general. Having this kind of power probably makes Saitama think of this all the time. I mean, doesn't he? You would be right, because in one of the first episodes, he talks about how his emotions are slowly disappearing and that he feels that he's losing all motivation and purpose in life. In Season 2, however, King, after finding out about his strong power, tells Saitama that finding a worthy opponent is not what a hero should focus on, but rather, find the joy in saving the lives of their fellow men and women and children, because they are the ones who can step up and do it. Now, of course, King downturns that entire motivational quote by saying in his head that he stole it from a manga, but come on, that's a great way to tell Saitama that he should still find motivation in saving people from threats not even other heroes can face, even if you'll always win. Saitama reminds everyone who watches that it's not about fighting or prestige, but rather doing things because you should. Not because you should try and find some kind of purpose. The purpose of saving people is to save them and nothing more. The public treats you well if you save them, because without you, they wouldn't be in absolute peril for their lives. King reminds Saitama that the true goal of a hero is to inspire people and save people, because you're the only one that can step up to do it. Saitama, although a bit more optimistic because of this quote and advice, he still has a long way to go from feeling less motivated because for many years, he felt like there was no reason to do anything anymore. For Saitama, he has to learn to live life in a different way than believing there is no reason to go on than simply because there's nobody that can hurt you. For Saitama, his true goal should be getting satisfaction from saving humanity. And I believe that's the true conclusion to the dilemma. It's about saving the people, not yourself. You're the one they look up to, so continue to inspire. Now this may seem like a stereotypical quote of advice from a good anime, and well, it seems that way, but it presents itself as a different reason for why giving up isn't always the best option for everyone else. This is the dilemma of One Punch Man. The dilemma of being the best hero and using your ultimate power to save your fellow species from absolute death, even if you may think there is no reason to live anymore. So, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, because I certainly enjoyed making it. And also because I'm a lot more optimistic, because recently I've been able to transition to my new workspace and continue making these videos without lots of obstructions and loud noises and background noises. So yeah, you guys won't really hear any loud brothers screaming to their friends about how they suck at video games anymore, so you'll get to enjoy my soothing, stuttering, autistic voice. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope that you enjoy it so much that you consider liking, commenting, or even subscribing to my channel. I do work hard on these videos, so I would appreciate a subscription. So yeah, like and subscribe for more content like this. Alright, outro.